Hi guys, I just wanted to come on here real quick and talk about these sort of African inspired tarot decks, okay, and what they're good for and simply what you cannot do with them. So I have which is not a particular, it's not tarot, but I have the Oracle of the Anubis, which is very Kemetic and deals with the Neteru. The New Orleans Voodoo Tarot deck, okay. The first Orisha Tarot deck and the Afro-Brazilian Tarot deck. Now, these decks are brilliant. As we know previously and before, when we would open a tarot deck, say for instance Rider-Waite, and we have a quick flick through, we see there's very limited representation of the lighting is really bad. There's no representation of who we are in those as African peoples, okay, or as black people. There's no representation in these decks. Even though this deck was designed by a black woman, Pamela Coleman Smith, she was a woman of colour. She was believed to have been biracial, and I know that there's a lot of debate around that. But if you understand colonial 19th century language, you'll understand that when she was called a peculiar, strange and odd looking little thing, what was meant by that. So these decks come with some really good books, okay? I think they're fantastic. So the Anubis Oracle comes with a very well researched book, quite in depth, for learning about the Neteru, the energy of the Neteru, okay, the Egyptian gods. The Orisha Tarot comes with a book, quite thick, and what Zorak has done is he's really gone into it, and he has, you can see all my notes, he has really kind of linked the Orisha energy to the traditional tarot, okay. Now this, for some reason, this looks like it's filming upside down. I don't know. Anyway, we'll just go with it. So really good interpretations and links, and there's a wealth of knowledge at the back. When we come to the New Orleans Tarot deck, again, tremendous amount of information. Absolutely, it is such a great book. If you want to learn about New Orleans voodoo, this is a really good book a really good deck to invest in. Again, wealth of information. The Afro-Brazilian Tarot deck just comes with a little white book. So, but it's still quite informative. It's still really, really informative. So I'm really excited about these decks for representation. We also have the African American deck, which is really good if you want to learn a lot more about different deities across the continent, okay. If you want to learn about different deities across the continent, okay. Beautiful imagery, and again about representation. Doesn't follow your traditional Rider-Waite typology, okay. It's very, very different, but it's really powerful to see us, okay, because we know, even when we're talking about the Rider-Waite, we know it's an esoteric deck. We know whether it's hermeneutics, the Kabbalion, the wisdom of Thoth, where it all comes from, or Tahuti. And we know that Aleister Crowley, I haven't got it here, but Aleister Crowley brought out the Thoth deck, okay, which is full of Kemetic symbology, and we all know where that comes from, okay. There are other decks like the native Native American deck. Again, really good, beautiful imagery. And again, I think these are fantastic learning resources to learn about other cultures and to connect with energies and understanding, to be able to link all of this stuff together. And this comes with quite a thick little white book. Okay, now, whilst I'm a fan of these decks, I do think they've been abused. Oh, I just wanted to say as well, there's another deck, the Mother Peace deck, which again shows Indigenous people, Native people, African people. And it's beautiful to see a deck where we are in it, when majority of the mainstream decks don't have much representation in them of people of colour. Right, now, here's the thing. People are using these decks instead of learning tools, understanding energetic archetypes, understanding how Yemaya can be linked to the High Priestess, the Queen of Cups, and how we can draw on that energy and how we can use that energy in our daily lives. People are using these decks to divine which deity is governing someone's head. You can't do that with these. That's not their purpose. And that's not what they're for. If you want to find out about your path in an African traditional religion, then you need to go and see a practitioner, a mambo, a babalowo, a priest. That's how you do that. And people say, well, it's divination. They're both divination. Yeah, but guess what? Oranges and apples both grow on trees, but they're two totally different type of fruits. But they still grow on trees. Do you understand? They're not the same. It's not the same form of divination. Tarot is a wonderful way to express the human nature. I want to say mankind, but of humans, okay? But I don't want to alienate women. It is a wonderful expression of the human nature, the fall of the human nature, the challenges that human nature faces. It's a brilliant way to explore that. It has its limitations whilst it is filled with spiritual knowledge, whilst it is linked to spiritual wisdom and spiritual truths. They don't have the ability to do what has been done over the years. And the reason why African traditional religions have lasted so long is because they are based on tradition. These are time-tested ways of doing things. And what I find with a lot of people that believe that they suddenly have this gift, or they believe so much in their gifts that they can do all these amazing things, is that they're lawless, filthy-spirited, rebellious, obstinate, and have no interest in submitting to any higher power or any form of governance. You have no business spiritually abusing people by telling people misguided information. This is not what the purpose of tarot for. These decks can be used for representation and to look at spiritual archetypes and to work with particular energies, the same way you'd work with the High Priestess energy, the same way you'd focus in on your intuition. You look at Yemaya, she's caring, she's nurturing. You can draw from that. It doesn't mean that suddenly now she's governing your head and you're going to go off and work with her. In a way, you don't understand the deity. You don't know in which way you have to work with her. You don't know what she likes. She doesn't know you. So we have to be really, really careful in what we're doing as readers, okay? And when we are using these decks, we have to stick to the art of reading tarot. Now, I have the herbal tarot, okay? Now, imagine if I spend a little bit of time with this deck and I become really into herbs and I suddenly go around and I start diagnosing people and saying, yeah, take this cayenne, that will help your arthritis. It's ridiculous, okay? We use these to understand. We use these so we can use rituals, we can set intentions, we can look within. They're great for personal development. They're great for counselling. They're great for therapy. They're great for looking at how you can change parts of your life. They're looking at snapshots of potential outcomes. They're brilliant for these things. But trying to use them trying to substitute an apple for an orange is not their intended purpose. So that's all I wanted to say about that. I hope you guys have a great day. I'm not trying to bash anyone. I just want people to be well informed, and I really hope that this sheds some light on why we have these decks. Take care and bye bye.